Hello and welcome. My name is Seth Lintelman. I'm the chef co-owner along with my lovely wife Elizabeth of the Cup and Saucer in Shiver, Minnesota. Today we are going to demo a two-part video. We're going to show you first how to prep, and then the second video is going to be how we cook and plate our bacon steak and some accompaniments to go along with it. So you may be asking yourself, first of all, what is a bacon steak? So let me show you. We go to our local butcher shop. We use Welcome Meats just over by the restaurant, and we have them take the bacon that they do so well already. Instead of slicing it thin, we have them sliced it about an inch thick or so, and that basically just gives us this nice big chunk of bacon that we call a bacon steak. So we're gonna first of all line that or put that on a sheet pan. Okay, the sheet pan itself we're going to line with a little bit of parchment paper, and the thought process behind that is more so just for cleaning. Once we got it on here, we're going to throw it in a 400-degree oven, and we're going to roast it for probably 45 minutes or so. Okay, every 10 minutes or so we're going to go in, we're going to use the tongs, and we're going to flip the bacon steaks just to keep them evenly browning on both sides. And the roasting process is basically just there to loosen up some of the fats, kind of render some of that residual fat that's already in bacon out, and also kind of relax the meat a little bit itself so it's a little bit more palatable. You can eat it a little bit easier, it's a little bit more tender. So we're going to start with putting that in the oven. So that's going to go in the oven and roast. While we're roasting that in the oven, we're going to start the process of our potatoes. So with this bacon steak, we're going to be serving these little Yukon Gold potatoes. These are little baby Yukon Gold potatoes. We've washed them thoroughly. We're putting them in a little pot here with just some cold water, right? And then we're going to add a good portion of salt to these as well. The salt is just going to be there to kind of season the potatoes, but you want it almost salty like seawater, okay? And then we're going to turn these on, and we're going to boil them. Well, once these are boiled, they'll probably boil for about 20 minutes or so. Once they've come to a point where you can kind of take a knife and stick a knife into it, the knife should go through the potato fairly easily, and when you lift it up, the potato should just kind of slide right off the blade, and that's when you know that they're tender enough. From there, we're going to drain them off, and we're going to let them cool. And then once they're cooled, we'll be able to smash them, roast them briefly in a little bit of olive oil. We'll add Parmesan cheese, and we'll put them in the oven and make them taste delicious. So while those are boiling, we're going to show you the prep for the rest of the bacon steak. So along with the bacon steak, we're going to make a little bit of a glaze that's going to go over the top of it, and it's just going to consist of chili flakes, honey, and garlic. Okay, the chili flakes, the honey are going to act kind of as a sweetener / spicy aspect to the savory bacon, and the garlic is going to kind of help boost that savoriness a little bit. The only real prep that I have to show you for that is how we cut the garlic. We take a garlic clove. What I don't like about garlic sometimes is that it can be very intense flavored, and for this dish we're not looking for a ton of garlic flavor. We're just looking for that background of it. So instead of smashing it with my knife or chopping it into tiny little pieces, we're going to slice it really thin. That way we're releasing less of the juices and the oils in the garlic, which makes it slightly less potent. And we're just going to put those little slices in. So I'm going to show you here. We've kind of taken the top end off of the garlic. We cut it in half a little bit just so that we've got a flat surface to work with so that it doesn't roll on us. We're going to take our knife, and we're just going to slice it real thin as we can get. So you get these nice little slices like that, and we're only going to use about that much garlic for one bacon steak. So we're going to take that off and put that in a little dish and set it aside. And this is basically just getting all of our mise en place together. Okay, mise en place is just kind of everything in its place. So you want to have all this stuff prepped up and ready to go before you actually start your dish, and then that way creating the dish is that much easier. So then we're going to show you how to slice these Brussels sprouts. So these are Brussels sprouts, almost like little baby cabbages. Okay, we've washed them already, and then we're just going to kind of peel this outside leaves off that sometimes get a little ratty or have some spotting to them. Okay. So we'll just peel a couple just to demo them. So we're just peeling that outer layer off. And I like to slice Brussels sprouts and saute them like this, or roast Brussels sprouts. Just kind of cut up as opposed to boiling. A lot of people are familiar with boiled Brussels sprouts. And the flavor is a little bit different, a little bit more of that intense kind of cabbage flavor, which sometimes tends to turn people off of Brussels sprouts. So this way we've found piques people's interest a little bit more, gets them to eat them a little bit better. So we're going to take that Brussels sprout, you've got the root end or the stem end kind of shaved off of there, so you've got a flat surface to start with. And we're going to do a fine, almost like a chiffonade. Chiffonade is basically a French term that basically describes an eyelash. Okay, so once we get a little bit shaved off, we kind of get it on the flat surface again and start working on it again. Once we get to a certain point, we'll flip it again and just kind of rotate it like that until you get a nice shaved Brussels sprout. That way you're keeping your fingers out of the way. We're not worrying about cutting ourselves. We're just slicing it thin. So now we have our Brussels sprouts shaved. We're going to put those in a little dish. Set those aside for a little bit later. We're going to move on to the apple. So this is a Honeycrisp apple. I like these Honeycrisps. They have some sweetness to them. They also have some tartness to them, and they'll work well for this dish. We're going to slice this off like so. And then we're going to slice this thin, just like we did with the Brussels sprout, okay? Just going to take our knife and slice it thin like this. Now this is not going to get cooked necessarily, it's just going to get slightly warmed up along with the Brussels sprouts. So once we've sliced it nice and thin like this, we're going to put it in a bowl and add a little bit of lemon juice just to keep it from browning while we're getting everything else together. You can also slice either of these. If you're not comfortable with slicing them with a knife or by hand, you could also slice either the Brussels sprouts and the apples with a mandolin as well. So we're going to put the apples in a little dish. We've got a little bit of fresh lemon juice here. We're just going to put that over the top of it, kind of toss them around, and that'll keep them from oxidizing and turning brown. And then the last thing that we're going to show you here is just kind of shredding the Parmesan cheese. We use Parmesan Reggiano. I suggest going to the grocery store and trying to find Parmesan Reggiano if you can. The flavor of it is 100 times better than the kind of shaker Parmesan or any other kind of pre-shredded Parmesan that you're going to find at the store. It's just a good quality product, and you get good flavors out of good quality products. So Parmesan Reggiano, direct out from Italy. We're just going to take that on our little microplane here, and we're going to shred it until we've got enough so that we can just kind of coat those little baby potatoes when they're ready. Just like that. We're going to set that aside, and then we've got all of our mise en place together for our dish. So we will be back Once our bacon steaks are done cooking and our potatoes are done cooking and we've got things ready to go, we will be back with our second part of the video showing you how to cook everything and plate it.